safe on the road because someone is crazy. And so the following night she came and picked me up, and I was telling her that, listen, in the morning you go to work, I think it's better for me to drive my own car, that if I need to go shopping, I can go shopping without you have to wait on me and, make an excuse. And then she said, I need to tell you something. I said, what? And she said, Kitch is gone. I said, what? What do you say? Kitch is gone. I said, what do you mean Kitch is gone? I said, you just told me that she just bought a bouquet of flowers. She said it was a goodbye flowers. He left for one of her best friends. Yeah. And that's a true story. He's been married to her now for a while. So I said to myself, wow, flowers doesn't mean anything, that because you get flowers, the relationship, in fact, they have their problem. But anyway, that's a different story. But I'm only saying, when somebody gives you gifts, it must gifts that can make you happy and uplift you, but not gifts that, gonna turn around and mean nothing, worthless.
Yeah. And sometimes people make you feel so out of place. Like when Valentine's come around. Oh, Miss Gloria, did your husband bring you flowers?
Oh, please.
No. So no, but if he brings me a box of nuts or whatever, I'll be happy. We don't do the flower story. But not even Valentine. You walk by HEB, you bring me something that I like, very happy. You're not going for the flowers and this and that. Yeah. But that's how inspiration is telling us to be, be thoughtful. Little things mean a lot. All right. Let's keep going. So we want to take a closer look at love expressions. And we want to hear what inspiration has to say to us. You get this thing out of my way. All right. There are many who regard the expression of love as weakness, and they maintain a reserve that repels others. This spirit checks the current of sympathy as the social and generous impulses are repressed. They wither and the heart becomes desolate, cold. Beware of this error. Love cannot long exist without expression. Let not the heart of the one connected with you starve for the want of kindness and sympathy. Cultivate tenderness, affection, and love that have expression in little courtesies, in speech, in thoughtful attention. So this comes to us from the Adventist Home, and you see the pages there. So, love, express yourself. You love your children, hold them, kiss them. Why I love you, you're growing so strong, or whatever. Tell your children nice things. Some people only wait for the children to slip up. You see you got far to go in this life, and they keep cursing their children and belittling them and saying the most negative things. I had a family member used to tell her daughter, because she didn't used to like to wash dishes. You, when you get married, your maid can be sleeping with your husband. You tell your children these things. After a while, you say often enough, they begin to believe it.
Yeah,
and so they grew up with this kind of this phobia of, I don't want no maid. Even if they need a maid, they're afraid because you curse them out like that. And so try to bless your children. Tell them nice things. And even when they're going wrong, you can say, God doesn't love this. But if you would turn, He would do so. Always lead them with something positive. Just don't keep telling them negative. You don't like school, you can sleep graveyard. And things like that people tell their children. And then they grow up believing it. And sometimes it's not that the child is not trying. Maybe the child learns in different ways that the teacher has not figured out. And so we have to be patient with them and stop saying evil things to the children, grandchildren too. And you tell the girls different things, and then they go up believing it, and sometimes they make it a part of them, which if you had not said that to them, life would have turned out differently. And so we have to be careful. about our pronouncements. And it goes on to say that, it says here, if we repress these generous impulses, they will wither. They will wither. And we want to cultivate it. You see the last paragraph here says cultivate. Some of us don't have these things. And so we have to cultivate them. We might have grown up in homes where our fathers were abusive, inattentive, negligent. And so we have to cultivate these graces, tenderness, affection, love, and showing little courtesies in the way we speak and being thoughtful in our attentions. And so God will help us to do these things. And in our interactions with others, sometimes we don't want to do this, and we make the whole set of excuses. If I do this, I don't have this, so it can end up like this. No, move out in faith and do what is right, and God is going to bless you. Let not the heart, now this is the bad part. Do not let the person who is expecting courtesies from you to starve for love. Somebody let a fly come in this house. Yes. So do not let the person who is looking at you for attentions to starve for love and sympathy. And even Christian men and women are culpable of this. Don't show expressions of love to your husband. Some people have the children. We were talking to a sister this morning. She's married to a husband, and he hasn't been relating to her since about after her daughter was born. And that is some 6 years. No, the girl is 7 years ago. The little child is so petrified by his behavior. And this is a biracial marriage. He takes her to school. He doesn't pick his teeth to say a word to her, not a good morning, have a good day at school or whatever. But he takes her to school and brings her back. So she tells her mom, Mom, I am afraid to travel with Dad. I feel something bad will happen Monday. See that? Because her own father that brought her into this world is so upset with her mom that he has no relation. He doesn't talk to child. He's in the home. He locks up in his bedroom all day long. And so people live with these things, and they come out to the world and they have a big smile, a broad smile, but things are not regular at home. And so we as Christians, we're not going, I keep saying, we could sing, the kingdom is coming, oh, let us prepare, but we're not going there if we don't cultivate these attributes that are essential for the happiness not only of ourselves, but of those that are around us. All right, let's continue. And you can tell me how much time I have, okay? So I could gauge myself. Okay. Brother Williams, you want to come in there? How much more time do I have?
Well, it's 7:36. You can take it up to 8.
Okay. All right.
Or I tell you what, you can 36. Or if you want to leave a time for discussion before 8. For
questions.
Questions.
I'll go for the next 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So, for many women, and this is relationship issues, for many women, emotional closeness is an essential prelude to intimacy. All right? And so problems in your relationship can be a major factor in your libido. I'm calling out the words that are not okay. Decreased interest in intimacy is often a result of ongoing issues such as the lack of connection with your partner, or unresolved conflicts or fights, poor communication, of your sexual needs and preferences, and infidelity or breach of trust. And so we want to unpack all of this here. Many women, that's how we're built. And so things have to be happening before that moment of truth, as we will call it, right? Things have to be in place. The cards have to be in the deck before certain things can happen. And so problems in the relationship, unresolved problems, affect how the woman relates to the husband. Men are different. And we're going to talk about men maybe at another forum, because men, there's any port for a storm for some men. And they have a word in the Hindi, it's called kina. Men don't have kina.
Kena.
You know, they can go through with the event, whether it's pleasurable or not. That's not with women.
Release.
Women, you gotta set our minds at ease. We gotta be comfortable. We gotta feel loved. We gotta feel appreciated, and then everything comes in train. Not so with men. You know, I always wonder how, like in the war, like in Ukraine and Iraq war, even wars before that, and they would tell you about how these men raped so many women. Like, see, in war, how your emotions could get to such a place that you could even perform that action. More so to an uncooperative person. You understand? How can you get there in a war? But men can do it. And that's one of their vilest attacks on the opponents, to rape women. And that's why the Bible tells us in Zechariah 14, that's what's going to be happening in the war in the promised land there. The woman would be ravished,
Yeah.
and the houses rifled. And so we want, in our relationships, to have that respect shown to us as women, so that we can be in a safe space to perform our womanly duties to our spouses, right? And so some of the things that affect the way women react and affect their low sex drive is that lack of connection with the partner. You're going to stay out all day, and then you have times to line with your friends, and it's the work, and it's something else, and you don't spend quality time. Then this can affect your relationship in that respect. If you fight, you had a fight. Women are like elephant, they don't forget. So even when you might have done the woman something and you say, oh, we can patch up tonight, we can have a fun time, they ain't forgetting. You have to come to the table and fix that.
As she told.
All right? Because
Brain of an
women,
elephant.
yeah, they don't forget. It take them 20 years, they're going to come back with that same story, and they're going to put some spice on it. And so we have to resolve those things. Pure communication of sex needs and preferences, you know. Some men don't take the time. A girl, you know, what is this? Or even from your own experience, you can find it. This is how, and that is how, and that's not how. Be mindful. I was telling the Dear Life students the other day, mindfulness is essential in any relationship. Just don't do anything and what succumbs to do. The Christian don't live like that. We talk about cultivating and improving and educating. And so we have to bring all of that to bear. So talk about things in your relationships. Don't be shy about them, because a lot of people, 40 years in marriage, never was satisfied because no one took the time to talk about these things. Infidelity, this is a big one. And breach of trust. And like Sister Bessel was talking about that story, how many times has that not happened? I know I have a little brother, Mr. Wilson, I think she knows him too, out in New York there. He was getting married several years ago, and his wife had a best friend, and she was to be her maid of honor. And so all the preparations are made, dresses are bought, and everybody is riled up. You had the bridesmaid party the night before, and this and that, and everything is in place. All the girls got the dress ordered and shoes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The day of the wedding, the first bridesmaid didn't show up. The maid of honor, but she was missing in action. So they're there, and she's not coming. So my sister-in-law calls to find out. She wouldn't answer. But the good Lord would have it that I have a niece. All my nieces are pretty, thank God. But this one, she was able to go and get the dress, same color, everything, and she was able to blend in, and everything went on, When the wedding and the big celebration, everything was finished, and she called her friend, because she was crying by this time. We met last night, we had a maid's party and everything. The girl is going to tell her she was upset because she was getting married, because she was in love with my brother too. Yeah, she had the nerve, the gumption. So,
that's screwy.
Have to watch people. Crazy. She said she could not go to that wedding and be holding her dress, knowing how she was feeling. But she could be honest to tell her before time. Girl, I don't think I could come to this wedding. But no, she wanted to hurt her, and hurt her in a very harsh way because of her personal feelings that she was cherishing.
I never hear.
And so my brother himself probably did not know how she felt about him, So this would not have been a breach of trust. But let's say the two of them had something going at the time of the wedding, because I've heard stories, or too many stories in this head of mine. But things like that happen. I know one girl I was working with. She got married, but she was in love with the best man. So at the wedding, there was a period of blackout. And you get that a lot. What do you call it? Accumulation of when electricity goes out. She is kissing the best man in the darkness on her wedding day. She comes to work and she's giving us the whole episode, and she was so scared that the light would pop on and find her. So people do things like that. And when you get to find out in your relationship, it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow, So let's be honest, be there for each other, and nurture what we have. The grass always looks greener on the other side.
And also,
when you take off that green sunshades, it's bare dry grass. So we have to respect and love and cherish what we have. And don't look for
another serious problem, Sister Decairs, even among us, is that we are not marrying for true love.
Yes,
right.
Married for.
And that is very serious, because many of us suffer because we are marrying for things that we might need, and we are not marrying for the right reason. And I tell people all the time, love does not compromise. You see the thing called love? If we love, Christ loves us, and that's why when they spit upon him and put crown of thorn on his head, he could still say, Father, forgive them. When you love, you forgive. No matter what happened. I've seen people in Jamaica. I've seen this man come to America to do work in America, farm work, and his wife got pregnant while he was away. And he come home and everybody said, okay, this marriage is done now. No, he forgive her.
Mm-hmm.
And
love suffers long.
He forgive her because he loves her. And he brought that child as if it was his child. And they had children. So when we're gonna one green card and we're gonna get married and say, oh, this man loved me and maybe I can change him. No, you cannot. You cannot. In my own family, I see that happen. People come and not only Davidian too, come and say, oh, I love you. And the other party say, oh, you know what? I'm going to marry to her because she's a Davidian. No, you don't. Find out why she loves them. And then, after they get what they want, they say goodbye. Because they don't love you. And that's why they wake up. I know of a minister, I'm not going to say which minister, years ago, many years ago, in the 80s maybe, married to someone. And I was supposed to go to the wedding, my husband, myself, and my children. And I went when they were preparing for the wedding. And I was there, and what I see, I didn't like. But when I came home, I said to my husband, I said, honey, I'm not going to that wedding tomorrow. He said, what do you mean you're not going? I said, I'm not going. I said, because John Brown don't love Mary Jane. I said, Norma, why you always come up with all them kind of things all the time? Because I said, I measure it from my life. I remember when my husband and I was quoting, and when it comes to the marriage, we were, I'm telling you, we were so tight. And anyway, so I said, no, I'm not going. So he said, but how are you going to tell her that she's not going? So I took the phone up and I called my job. And I said to them, are you short? And they said, oh, yes, you want to come in? I said, yes. He said, come in. I said, okay. So I told him, he said, listen, they called me in for work and I have to go to work. And I went to work and I didn't go. So says, so done. It was so messed. And not only one, but this one was actually a minister.
Wow.
And I heard, and the wife told me one day, she said, he was so disconnected from her that one day she literally walked before him naked. He was all in his book study. And she walked and she said, hey, open up her robe over here. And you know what he said to her? Go put some clothes on.
Oh, excuse me, please.
Yes, ma'am. That's what he said. Go put them. And then eventually dissolved. So we have to marry for the right reason. We have to marry because we have a connection with that person. And I see it more and more is happening among us in the church. People are marrying because of different reasons. And because of that, it's not a good thing. And that's why we have so much problem. Lack of connection with your partner.
Yep. And you see, as women, we have an obligation to ourselves.
You better believe it.
We have an obligation to ourselves to be the best version of ourselves.
That's right.
We have to be comfortable in our own skin. And we are going to attract the right people to us. Don't try attracting people, doing everything to attract people. You just be the best version of who God made you to be. Live to your principles. Do what is right. Put a smile on your face when you go out to face the world. Just be the best version of yourself. And you will be surprised like bees to honey. You will be attracting, whether it's in just casual social friends or whatever. You're going to attract the right people to yourselves. And so I want to encourage our sisters to do that. Don't wait for nobody to give you no approbation. Oh, girl, you look nice. No, I look in my mirror, I look good. You could say what you like. I feel nice. My mirror tells me nice things this morning, and I believe it. You understand? So be comfortable in your own skin, and you're going to attract the right people to yourselves. All right. So, big problems. Sometimes when women get pregnant, husbands don't know what to do with them. Some people think that when you get pregnant, you should have no intimacy. Some people have all kinds of things about pregnancy. But people need to read and understand and get scientific information. Talk with your doctor, read good books, do your own research, and see what is best. Invest in yourselves. And when you know things, you can share with others. And so when people are pregnant and breastfeeding, they get a lot of hormonal changes, especially during pregnancy. Pregnancy does a whole lot of things. Some people are in bed for the whole 9 months. Some people get so swollen, they look different, like it's a whole new creation. Some people's feet become swollen. Some people's attitude change. Some people get a darker complexion. Pregnancy does a number on you. And so there's so many changes during pregnancy. And just after the baby's born and during breastfeeding, it put a damper. Women, they feel they're not clean, they're still going through the purification process, and that dampens the sexual drive. And of course, hormones aren't the only factor affecting intimacy during these times. You fatigue because this baby will shut his mouth. Day and night, they don't have no time. And so you fatigue, you're changing your body image. You used to have your nice little, good looking, then you develop these stretch marks and everything, gravity taking its toll, pulling down and so on. And so things change and it can affect your mind. And the pressures of pregnancy or caring for the new baby can all contribute to changing in your sexual desires. Some women have to be counseled back into having intimacy. They feel dirty. They feel all kinds of different ways. It's amazing to see how people react. Some people, postpartum depression, want nothing to do with the baby, nothing to do with the man. I remembered, and I told my cousin, and I did do a research. I went home, and my cousin was pregnant, my cousin's daughter. And she calls me auntie. She says, auntie, I am having this second pregnancy. I just find myself laughing, and then crying. And then I don't want to talk to nobody. And I said, wait, I thought this thing just happened when you you get the baby. So I came back and I started researching prepartum depression. It's something, her hormones were all over the place. And so she was having all these extreme feelings and behaviors. But thank God her husband was so loving and caring that he just let her, be, and he was just supportive. And that's the kind of thing you need. Sometimes when women go into menopause, hot, they don't want you. Don't come near. No, hot. And men don't understand. And so you have to learn and educate yourselves. We all have to educate ourselves as to how life can change and things like that. All right, so it's almost the 8 o'clock hour. Any questions?
Okay. What a feast, what a feast.
Yes.
Well, this is
I think I have like 2 other slides if there's no other questions.
Okay, all right.
Can we finish?
Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So I talked about menopause and how the estrogen level drops when you're in menopause, and it causes a lot of drying up of the female organ, and there can be dryness, and intercourse could become very uncomfortable and so on. And also, we have, as women, we have a degree of testosterone, like men. Men have more than us, just like they have estrogen. And so this imbalance comes on where the little that we have is taken from us. And so that also helps to decrease in libido, and it affects relationships in that way. And so we have to have interest in ourselves. We don't want to become obsessed with ourselves, thinking about me, and I only. But we have to have some special regard for ourselves. As women, as men, yeah. You tell your sons, don't have no girls, treating them like this and that and that. They must, be comfortable in their own skins as well, And husbands, feel good about yourself. You put on your shirt and tie, you say, yes, man, I'm a son of God, and you don't care how anybody feels. Yeah, be good. Let your mirror tell you the truth, and you believe what your mirror tell you. All right? Okay, so don't wait for nobody. So self-interest. To keep your libido in prime form, you've got to walk. Some people don't want to exercise at all. Go walking, take your little walks. If you can't, some people like jogging, the stronger boned ones. Do something aerobic exercise daily.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it doesn't sound sexy, but a 2-mile walk, or you don't even have to break out in 2-mile walk. 15 minutes you walk a day, half an hour. Every day keeps the blood flowing. And this is something that helps to increase that function in your body. If you find you're losing interest, go and walk. And then your blood starts flowing and you feel good about yourself. Your skin starts to get lush. And you look pretty. You feel that you burn some calories. All those things help to build self-esteem. Lose weight if you're obese. If you think you're putting on too much weight, if you got some COVID fat, start working on it. Now is the time. Eating a low-fat diet also helps restore sexual function. And so you'll feel better about yourself, and your partner will be more interested in you. You don't understand the psychology of the mind. If when your husband comes in the afternoons, he see you every day, you sit on the couch, you watch TV, you're knitting, you do something, and you start, some afternoons, you just get up and run around, go around the park, do a mile or two. It's Susie this afternoon. So he started getting interested in you. You got to do things like that. I don't know, women sit down and let their relationship get so boring and so disinterested. Do things. Go out, even if you got to stay in the mall till he gets home. You say, where this girl? She just be home all the time. Calling your phone, you don't answer the first 2 calls. You got to do things like that, sisters. All right. And so you keep that interest. You feel better about yourself, and your partner will be more interested in you. And will also help your heart, and that's very sexy. All right? So these are good little tips. All right, Sister Williams. Brother Williams called you to pretend like you didn't hear him the first time. This girl, she did. She'd be home this. And then when you call again, so you don't give him a heart attack. Say, hey, hon, I'm here. I'm out with friends. You're just walking around the mall. Make the heart go up pretty flatter. But she don't walk around the mall, Do little things.
That's
Keep your
right.
relationship interesting. And it's going to go a long way. And you will both have each other's interests. May God bless us and help us to live wise, happy lives and attract others to the sweet religion of Jesus.
Amen. Before we go, I have to say something before we go, Sister Decairs.
I'm coming to.
Brother and Sister Williams, I talk about them all the time. They would know. I have people that doesn't know them, and I often talk to them, and I always said, I met them when they were very young. The first time I met him, is not under good circumstances. I met him in the hospital. He was sick.
I remember.
And I went to Jamaica, and Sister Harcher told me my brother is in UC. And I said, I have to go meet him visit with him before we come back. My brother and I went there, and we met him, and there was his young wife. And every time I look at them now, I said, to God be the glory. I talk about you guys all the time. I said, wow. I said, you were you, and I said, oh, he's young, he's sick in the hospital, and she's right there by his side. Amen. And today, I talk about them. I'm so proud of you guys. I really, truly respect you guys. And when I heard Brother Williams talk about his queen, I said, that's a man of my own heart. I wish you all the best, and God bless you and keep you, because that's what I believe in. So, and that's true.
Thank you, my sister.
Mr. Wilson, when you call your wife queen, how do you expect her to behave? Like a maid?
That's a tall order.
Boost her self-esteem. I'm the queen in this house. Not a lot of money, but I run the one show in the house,
One time I was in New York, and my husband, I went to, I think Mountaindale, I don't remember where, and the sister was there, and I tell her to drive in the front of my car, sit beside my husband. I didn't know that Lennox was offended about it. And when I came home that night, he said to me, why you put somebody in that seat? That seat is yours. You are the, he said, you are the queen, and that's belong to you. And I said, I don't mind. He said, not a matter if you be mine. He said, that's the seat you belong to. When I saw it, all the time when I heard him talk about that, it just reflect on my life and just remembering, you know. So God bless you all.
Yes. Thank you so much.
And listen, you're not too old in this business for the devil to put a monkey wrench in there.
That's right.
So you have to always be on high alert. You know, anything can happen. So keep the love alive and keep Christ in the midst of it.
Amen.
Amen.
Lesson learned, Sister Wilson. Lesson learned.
Yes. Praise the Lord.
That was good that your husband said it. But anyway, I remember exactly what I think, as you said, in the hospital there when we met. That's the first time we met, and then I started seeing you afterwards, I think. But yes, she has been there for me, and you saw her that day. She has been there every day, practically, coming and going, coming and going.
Beautiful.
There is a comment that says the best thing that the husband can show, a way to show his love is to be a provider.
Yes.
And then the love will automatically
will flow.
You want to talk about that?
You don't want no bomb playing video games all day in your house. Let him go work, even if it's 2 cents. Even if you put the whole 85 cents or 98. If he brings his 2 cents, it's counted.
A provider.
That's right.
Yes. God made the garden and the flowers and everything first. The fruit trees, prepared everything before that couple. Well, my dear sister, we have learned so much. And I tell you what, we don't hold back when you're talking about women or men's issues, because one thing we know is that as Christians we hold back on a lot of information that we need to talk about, we need to know. Unless it is not good for airplay.
We got some airplane here.
Yes. But you just tied up all the other presentations, because we had, talks and menopause talks and
hormones and
postmortem, and now you introduce the pre-mortem, and everyone knew about that.
Postpartum depression and
pre-partum.
Yes, that is something. And so women need to know, because I tell you what, knowledge causes love to grow. When you have an understanding of the woman you're with, because you made a comment that a person who couldn't deal with his wife after she had a baby, and he's not alone. He's not alone in that, and so if they learn, if they get some information. And that's why counseling is so important at times for couples, family counseling, family life counseling, because a lot of ignorant people are together and don't know how to manage these relationships and these issues when they come. Because, all they know is the part, that lovey-dovey part when they just met. But as you say, when things are going south and when that phase has changed. I heard a man one time, a woman, really, on the street, on the road of Jamaica, just shouting out at the top of her voice that this is not the man I married and I don't love him again. She was just bellowing that out down the street and was describing the man, how his face has become wrinkled and he's ugly and she don't want to be with him, and she was serious. So people are not ready to deal with, as the vow says, for better or for worse, until death do we part. No. They don't want to deal. They're not.
Sometimes it just goes from worse to terrible. You still got to hang in.
It goes from worse. Yeah, so I want to thank you. I want to thank you for this wealth of information. It is very, very informative, very educational, and I am glad that Sister Mark came in, and I know I would reschedule, but even if I reschedule, you know, you never know. Maybe the same people wouldn't have been here, and you know, so it is God through her that caused it to happen, because I was just gonna shut down and go ahead and fix it tomorrow or something. But and then
Mark is a technological lady.
Yes.
yes.
I teach tech.
Switchboard man, switchboard lady. So thank you all for, and remember, I mean, do you have anything else, anybody? Apart from that we see on the chat. I don't want to leave out your thoughts. Sister Mark, you have a thought? I remember we are a mixed group here. We have Seventh Adventists.
No, I don't have a thought. Thank you.
Okay. God bless you.
Nice study.
Yes.
Nice study.
Yes.
Yes,
Good
it
presentation.
was great. It was great. I mean, she covered so many things. So normally I defer to my queen here because she also has a list that she wants to sort of highlight.
Well,
and as you come in with that, I have here sentimental. I heard a lady say, "Oh, this ring is so sentimental." How about the ladies with, you know, things that are sentimental? And because we know people cherish things of the past, all of us have some sentiment. So how about the ladies? Because, you know, we as men, we have to learn how to deal with you. Well, Sister Wilson said she don't like flowers, but I like all that.
bouquet?